A production of Flint Energies, your local touch-tone energy cooperative. Front Porch Chats brings you along while we share interesting events, places to go, important programs, and hidden gems located in Central and Southwest Georgia. Grab a glass of iced tea while we chat for a spell.
I'm your host, Natalie Bradley, and I'm here today with Visit Perry and Anya Turpin, and I'm going to let her introduce herself in just a second, but we want to make sure that you guys know everything that's going on in Perry so that you don't miss out this fall or year-round. We're going to give you some important information, links, places to go so that you don't miss out on a thing and you know exactly what's going on in your own backyard.
Thank you, Natalie. I'm so excited to be here. My name is Anya Turpin. I am with Visit Perry. And we are the Perry Area Convention and Visitors Bureau. And what that means is we are the marketing and promotional arm of Perry. So everything that's happening in Perry, from our events, our attractions, restaurants, businesses, we go out and promote that to not only tourists, but also our residents and the general public. We want everybody to know what is happening in Perry and how they can get the most of their time in Perry, whether they're here for a day or they're going to live here for the rest of their lives.
That's awesome. Well, a few months ago, my family relocated to Perry from not too far away. And in our neighborhood, I was so interested to find out how many people have relocated here because they have come to Perry events.
Yes.
And they fell in love with it.
Yes, we have seen a population growth. I don't know the exact number off the top of my head, but I feel like it has probably doubled within maybe the last 10 or 15 years.
I think the last thing I saw was it's 10 or 13,000 people. And since the census.
Yes.
Or since the previous census.
Total, we're sitting at about 26,000, which is, I've only lived here for 5 years and that number's already significantly grown, as has the number of events and businesses and restaurants. So there's just growth overall in Perry, and it's very exciting to be the marketing person for a small town that sees growth, because not all small towns can say that they are actively growing and thriving, which Perry very much evidently is.
Very true. And one of the things that I was just having a conversation the other day, a lot of towns that are experiencing such heavy growth as Perry, they struggle a lot of times. But Perry does such a good job of trying to get ahead of it and planning and really, controlling, not in a bad way, but the aesthetic and protecting the feel of Perry. And I think that that's one of the things that makes it feel so awesome and fun and still small, even though it's not as small as it.
Yes, I think it's very strategic.
Yes.
It comes from city.
It's not an accident.
It's not an accident. Everything there's a lot of thought behind that.
Yeah.
It comes from city leadership with their strategic plan and their vision for the community, but it also comes down to the different community partners and the roles that they each play and the boards that oversee them, and making sure that everyone has this unified vision for growing Perry, but growing it mindfully, and what do we aspire to be as we have that growth. But it has been very exciting to see more and more events growing and changing, evolving, and just the overall visitor experience has changed in the past several years, mostly due to this growth and the new businesses, the new restaurants, the new events that we have. But you hear all the time people say that Perry doesn't feel the same way that it did 10 years ago. And that's an exciting thing.
Yeah, that's going to happen.
Yes.
and I remember it when I was little. I grew up about 30 minutes from here in Oglethorpe, and we came to Perry, new Perry Hotel, coming to visit. My mom even had a shop where Bodega Brew is now located for a little while before we moved to Atlanta. And she was a single mom. So, she was an interior designer, and just coming to Perry was very exciting. And it was a very big town compared to Oglethorpe back in the day. And now it still is a very big town compared to Oglethorpe. But it's changed so much, even from when I was little. I remember downtown, it just didn't have a ton of things going on. It was beautiful. And we enjoyed coming, but, in the 80s, that's kind of right after the mall boom. So I love the return to downtown that, all government, you're seeing they're cherishing that and embracing it and supporting it and pouring money and investment into it. And it's making a big difference.
Yes, absolutely. There is a push for shopping local and supporting local. Even if you're not from Perry, when visitors are here, they want to eat somewhere that they can't eat at home. They want to shop somewhere that they can.
Not just a chain.
Yes, they want to experience Perry like a local does.
Yeah.
And that definitely is what Perry's great great at. We
Yeah.
have lots of really unique things that you can only find in Perry, those Perry experiences.
100%. I love that. There's a lot of different groups that are working together. Like you guys work a lot with like the chamber, you've got a strong economic development office. I mean, you guys kind of fit together in an interesting partnership, right?
We are very fortunate. We're actually housed inside of City Hall.
Mhm.
So our Welcome Center is open to the general public Monday through Friday as a part of City Hall's operation.
Okay.
But that partnership with the city, allowing us to have our Welcome Center here, allows our team to be able to go out and invite visitors where they are. So we can take our mobile Welcome Center, which is a van that we have outfitted to be able to take all of our brochures and visitor guides and visitor experience information, maps, postcards, stickers. We can take all those things to other communities and set up remotely at their own festivals and events and encourage people to come and explore Perry the next trip that they take.
Yeah.
And so being at City Hall is a huge plus for us. It also puts us in the core of historic downtown Perry, which means we're essentially next door neighbors with the chamber. We're very, accessible to the downtown businesses. We work very closely with the economic development and the Main Street program, which are literally office mates right across the hall from us.
Yes.
There's lots of meetings and things that take place inside City Hall. So we're constantly seeing people from the community come in and out of this building. It makes us very accessible for questions, whether it is the visitor or even a resident. And then, of course, right up the street, the Georgia National Fairgrounds is a huge part of what we promote as well. And, we see representatives from that organization throughout the week, at different meetings and whatnot. But Perry is growing, but it's still small enough that we are all very, very connected with one another. And I think having that connection helps to make sure that we are in unison when it comes to sharing about the events that are happening, sharing about the different projects that people are working on, a sense of collaboration. And it really is exciting to kind of be the neutral party that genuinely gets to promote everything and everybody in Perry. We don't just focus on city events. We don't just focus on the fairgrounds. We focus on anything and everything that's happening here.
I mean, that's like the secret sauce, everything you just
yes,
you just described. I think that's what makes Perry so special.
Absolutely.
It's that nice balance that you guys bring to the table. So where do you want to start?
So I would love to tell people about everything that happens in Perry.
Okay.
So for the last, I've been in this role with Visit Perry for just over a year. And prior to that, I oversaw the City of Perry's special events calendar for 4 years. And working in the City of Perry's special events, it was very easy to get kind of tunnel vision and see just what the city was putting on and kind of devote yourself entirely to that. But moving into this role has really expanded even my own understanding of everything that's happening in Perry. There is so much going on, and whether that's 3 or 4 events happening simultaneously at the Georgia National Fairgrounds, or live music downtown, or a karaoke night, or a bingo night. There's so many activities that are happening on any given night in Perry that it really is fun to explore. If you go to Visit Perry's calendar, just scroll through it and see what all there is to do. And it really will vary by season, but there really is no slow time in Perry.
There really isn't.
There isn't.
Yeah.
I've worked in tourism in other communities where, we're a lake community, so we're going to be really busy when it's warm outside. And that's just not Perry. We're very fortunate to be situated close to I-75, and people are constantly coming and going from there. So whether people are just stopping off for a place to spend the night and looking for something to do while they're here, or they're strategically making an international flight to come to a national barrel horse event at the fairgrounds, we have all kinds of visitors here. And that really has been fascinating for me, working with this team at Visit Perry, to see just how much tourism Perry really does have and how much there is to do here if you know where to find that information.
Yes. And we'll link to Visit Perry website and Facebook, Instagram, all those important places.
Yes,
so.
We definitely encourage people to follow us on social. We're at Visit Perry. We have our website, and the website has a very robust calendar.
It does.
Like I said, it's everything from a paint night at one of our local art studios to a concert, and some of them are going to be free experiences. Some of them are going to have some cost associated with them, but we try to promote anything for everyone. So no matter what your interest is, there's something for somebody to do in Perry. And a lot of people will say, I didn't realize, and we love hearing that because it's great to, whether you, like I said, whether you're staying here for one night or you've lived here your whole life, there's probably something happening that you may not know about. And
Yes.
an opportunity to connect with somebody or support a local business or enjoy a night in Perry. So we definitely encourage people to follow our different social channels and learn more about what's happening. We also try to set up at a lot of our local events too, so we
Okay.
can have outreach with the community.
Mhm.
So if people have questions about what to do, how to get involved, how to get plugged into different things, we love being a resource for our local residents as well.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I mean, you guys do such a good job of just putting, I mean, honestly, everything on social. So it's that great reminder. I'm signed up for the emails, so I love that too. Yeah, it's like I get it in every way possible because we are busy, and I feel
Yes.
like, and I say people are lazy, but it's just, I think we're inundated with just stuff
Yes,
all the
and
time in our
there's
lives.
there's a lot of information out there, and the
Yes.
thing that I've learned in working closely with the city is people like to receive that information differently.
Yes.
So somebody may be all about the monthly e-newsletter that we
Mhm.
send out. That may be their favorite way to get all of this great information in one cohesive e-newsletter that's free and
Right.
sent routinely once a month. Other people may prefer to have those, little pop-ins from Facebook every once in a
Yes.
while, or something that I personally love is the events on Facebook, because
Yeah,
if you
I
click
do too.
if you click you're interested, it will remind you that you were
Yes.
interested. And I am such a forgetful person
Yeah.
that I'm like, oh, thank you. That does
Yes.
sound cool
Yeah.
still, and I'd like to go to that.
Yeah.
So people like to receive information differently.
You're
And I think
right.
even this podcast is helpful because I know for me,
Mhm.
I'm the kind of person that if I can multitask and I can
Yes.
receive this information while I'm
While I'm
cleaning my
doing something
house,
else.
it's so making sure that we're trying to meet everybody where they are.
Mhm.
And that's also a part of our mission is, making sure that we're delivering things the way that people want to receive them. So we've redone the Visit Perry brochure to make sure that
Mhm.
we have a comprehensive guide to the
It's
community.
fabulous, by
Thank
the
you.
way. Yeah.
Thank you. So
It's like a little miniature magazine. Like, it's
and
beautiful.
that, thank you. We really
Yeah.
appreciate that. And that was the goal. We want it to be something that people want to read
Yeah.
and come back to. And then we also understand that not everybody prefers things digital. So we wanted to have
Yes.
something hard.
I'm one of those people.
I am as well. I
I'm very
don't
tactile.
yes, I don't fit the mold for my
Yeah,
my
exactly.
age demographics, but I want something that I can write notes in, I can fold the page over. But we do also have that digital as well,
Right.
with digital links if that makes it easier for someone to
Mhm.
navigate. So we really have tried every avenue that we can explore aside
Yeah.
from going door to door to people's houses
Right.
to make sure that they're getting that information. And then we also, so something that a lot of people don't know is we're funded by hotel motel tax.
Mhm.
So every time someone spends the night in one of our hotel rooms, they're helping to contribute to our marketing budget.
Yes.
And so with that being said, one of the things that we really want to make sure that we're doing is promoting and supporting our local hospitality industry.
Right.
So we also have internal ways that we keep our hospitality partners informed. We have a physical newsletter that we deliver every other month with lots of updates about what events are coming up, how they can get resources from us, questions about how we can support them, different projects that we're working on that they might be able to get involved with. And we send that out to our hotels, our campgrounds, our restaurants, our
Oh, wow.
retailers,
Yeah.
and really try to open up that line of communication
Yes.
where collaboration is the biggest
That's key.
thing. It's key. And so we try to make sure that we're reaching not just the public, but also supporting the things that literally give us something to promote.
Yes.
If our restaurants and our hotels and our events and all of those are successful, it just makes our job easier at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So we also make monthly hotel visits where we drop into every hotel and campground and check in, drop off any new resources that we have. For example, we just started a new desk map that they can send out to people while they're
cool.
staying.
Yeah.
So whatever it happens to be that we have as a new resource, we always try to take some of those to our hotels to see who may be interested in sitting those out, and then just make ourselves available to answer questions or take any constructive feedback or ideas for projects that we can try to implement.
Yeah, you guys are so busy. Y'all are always out.
we try. We're excited, but again, that's the flexibility that having our welcome center inside of City Hall
Yes.
offers us. Is
Yeah.
we can still have all of these resources available for the public to come and grab their Explore Georgia guide, their map, their Visit Perry brochures. They can come and get those resources even while myself and our team are out,
Right.
covering boots on the ground projects in the community.
Yeah. Well, so last year, last November, I think, November, we brought our Empower Youth Leadership group to Perry, and they were, I mean, afterwards, we kind of drill them about like, what did you get out of it? And they were really, really quiet while, they were being kind of, I don't want to say lecture to, but they were getting all these presentations. And then we actually walked them, downtown, and they got to go in the different shops and, see what was going on there. And afterwards they were just, I was like, why are you guys so quiet? And I was afraid that they weren't enjoying it. And they were like, we had no idea that it was so awesome. And I was like, what do you mean you didn't know? And I teased them. I was like, you have to get off your phone so you can like know what's happening. And they were like, true. But they didn't realize how many hands were in it and how much work it took to make all this awesome stuff happen. And, a lot of them have come to events that they've never attended before. Sure. And these are teenagers, and they're telling their parents, and they're telling their families, and they're all from surrounding counties. Mm-hmm. And my daughter's in Perry Youth Leadership this year. And so, she was going in and she was like, she's like hardcore loves Perry and has like, really taken advantage of a lot of the different events. We were here for 4th of July celebration and Independence Day, and fireworks were incredible. And then entertainment was super fun. And it's just, I guess I've seen like both sides of it, and it's really interesting to be in that experience. I feel like, as an outsider and then an insider, I guess. And then also seeing through these kids' eyes, because they do see things differently from like you or I would. And I just think it's fascinating to see like they're getting it and they're blown away by, how much creativity and strategic planning and just thoughtfulness goes into every single thing that they are maybe taking for granted. I know I have in the past.
I think that loops back to the original, part of the conversation of how much strategic thought is behind every decision, and how much collaboration, and then how much passion you have to think about projects from not just the stance of what do I want to experience, but look at it from a diverse range of, we love the opportunities to reach out to Perry Youth Leadership and groups like that, because it gives us the chance to use them as kind of a think tank.
Right.
Say, what is going to bring you back after you graduate college to open a business here or raise your family here? What kind of things are you going to be looking for? What kind of things are you looking for now as an active resident of our community? Mm-hmm. So it does help to have opportunities to connect with those groups and get feedback from the community, even if it is during an event where you have a survey out or something. Yes. We always are looking for opportunities to get that constructive feedback that can help to grow the community the way that it wants to be grown. And I think that the city as a whole has done a good job of making sure that we have something for everybody. There really is. And it goes back to what I was saying about the fairgrounds. And a lot of people think of the fairgrounds as the fair and maybe the rodeo, or maybe one or two other things, but legitimately, you can
like every weekend,
and you can literally have a car show going on the same time as a goat show, at the same time as a kids consignment sale. And so you could literally take the whole family and say, let's all meet up in an hour, and everyone can have a completely different experience, but still have a good time. And so that's what I love about it. We're so fortunate to be, we're less than a mile off of the interstate. Mm-hmm. And there's so many communities that, they're located along I-75, but once you take that exit, you've got to commit to another 30-minute drive. Yes. We are literally,
couldn't be placed better.
We literally have multiple exits off of the interstate that put us less than a mile. So there's no additional commitment once you've taken that exit. Yes. And we have the Georgia National Fairgrounds, which brings a robust calendar of events throughout the entire year. And, many of which are free. A lot of the public does not realize that you can go to these events and sit and watch a dog show or sit and watch a horse race, and it's free. Yeah. We've gone at work and just made it a girls thing where, hey, let's all pack some food and we're going to go and spend our lunch watching horses race at the fairgrounds.
Oh, that is fun.
And I think that there's a lot of residents who may be missing out on free or low cost activities to do right in their own backyard that could either, I've heard of people who have come and raced horses here and ended up moving here because they loved it so much, or people who have gone to these shows and watched it and then realized, hey, maybe I want to try that and get into that, or just become a fan of it through that experience. So Perry, it's very easy to just say that Perry's a small town, but we really have so many different puzzle pieces that when put together,
Yeah.
it's the perfect little small town.
You're right. You're
It
right.
really is. It has everything that you need and then some.
Yes. Do you want to touch on any events this fall?
Yes.
Okay.
Sure. So I said that, Perry doesn't really have a busy season. We are
Right.
fortunate to have events year round, but we definitely do have a season that I consider to be my favorite season,
Mhm.
and that's the fall in Perry. And
Yeah.
it's just because the kids are back in school, everybody's falling back into their routine.
Mhm.
Then there's so many things on the calendar that can get people out of their houses on the weekend in Perry, have a good time. In September, we're going to be having another Food Truck Friday. So that's going to be really fun.
Yeah.
It's going to be on September 20th.
Okay.
And then on September 28th, we will have the 4th annual Perry International Festival, which has recently won.
One award?
Yes, it's recently won one of the top 20 Southeast signature events.
That is
So
incredible.
very exciting. It's over 13 different states in the Southeast that our festival won top 20 in.
Wow.
And that is a completely free event. It's one of the largest international festivals in the Southeast, and it takes place right in historic downtown Perry. And then, of course, everybody knows the Georgia National Fair.
Mhm.
That's coming back for its 35th year. So
Wow.
that's huge.
Yeah.
That'll be in early October.
Okay.
And then, of course, I'm a huge Halloween fan. We've got all sorts of spooky season activities coming up. Every year in October, downtown Perry does the Scarecrow Festival, which is a month-long.
It's so fun.
A very passive activity. You can come anytime that's convenient for you.
People get so creative.
They're very creative, and they're ramping it up this year with some fun themes, new elements. So definitely recommend coming through sometime in October and checking out all the scarecrows downtown. And then there's new events that are being added this year, the beer, bourbon, and barbecue, as well as the barbecue, blues, and brews. So regardless of, which event you come to, if you're a fan of beer, barbecue, and other elements, there's going to be something for you.
Okay.
And then lastly, the sweets and treats, which is, everybody loves candy, whether you're a kid or an adult. Sweets and treats in downtown Perry is an experience that can't be missed. So that's just, that's a very high level overview of things that are happening in the fall. But again, if you go to our website and you look at that calendar, you're going to see dozens more than what I just named, and you also get all the full details for it. So it's exciting. One of the things that I do recommend for any resident or visitor who comes to Perry frequently is try to pick up one of our calendar magnets. Those are hot commodities. They're
I'll have to
free. Yes. So we always release the next year's calendar magnet at the Buzzard Drop, which is our New Year's Eve celebration. So we're actively working on our 2025 calendar right now as we speak. And that magnet is free. It has all of the key, big picture events that take place for the whole year. And you can slap that on your fridge, and you'll always know, I'll never miss a Food Truck Friday. I'll never miss the fair. I'll never miss the Dogwood Festival. But it also will include a QR code and a link to our website. So you can also make sure that you don't miss karaoke night at Main Street Bar or live music at Bodega and all these other events that aren't on the magnet but still are a great time in Perry. So definitely recommend getting one of those.
You're so smart. I love it. That's genius. Okay. Anything else you want to make sure that people know about different things y'all are working on or what's right in the backyard?
I think one of the things that we would like to make sure, especially your listeners know, is if they're looking for an opportunity to get involved, we're always looking for passionate volunteers.
Okay.
You don't have to live in Perry. You can be someone who grew up in Warner Robins. You can be someone who grew up in another neighboring community. I myself am a transplant. You don't have to be born and bred Perry, or to love Perry passionately. We're just looking for people who are interested in sitting with us at one of our booths or events whenever we take the Mobile Welcome Center somewhere. We've got the Georgia National Fair coming up, and we'll be looking for volunteers to help us cover shifts there. There's always some sort of perk involved for volunteering with us. And of course, we're willing to write, letters of references for students or, people who are trying to build out their resume. We're always very supportive in that sense. But the main thing is it helps to get connected with other people. It's a really low-key volunteer opportunity that doesn't require a lot of physical labor. So it's great for retirees who just want to get out and talk to people. But mainly we're just looking for people who can passionately talk about help people make the decisions of where are they going to eat dinner tonight,
Right.
or what should they do this weekend with their family. Hey, we've got people visiting in town. What is the farmer's market? Answer those general type of questions and help them make the decisions that's going to give them the best experience while they're here in Perry. So if people are interested in volunteering, we are always looking to build our volunteer database, and we would love to work with them.
So if somebody's interested in volunteering, should they email, call?
Email, call. We also do have a link on the City of Perry's website for volunteers.
Okay.
But I think for general questions, emailing or calling would be the best, and then we'll get them connected with the right person or the right direction.
That's great. And if you're listening and you're a teenager or you have one at home, that looks really good on your college application to have those service hours.
Yes.
And what a great way to meet friends. I mean, you never know what kind of a relationship you could develop.
Absolutely.
From something as simple as that. I love that. This is really great. And I love how you guys cross promote with other surrounding events and festivals and show up with these surrounding communities. And I guess I get kind of a different vantage point than others because of this podcast and getting to talk to all these communities.
Sure.
But you've left like a really big impact on a lot of these other communities. And they just thought like, this is so neat that Perry comes to our festival and they set up, and we never even thought about doing that in other communities, but that makes sense.
It's again, it goes back to that spirit of collaboration. Travel and tourism, especially when you're talking about rural tourism, it's not a limited quantity.
No.
Most people aren't going to say, well, I can't go to Macon next weekend because I went to Hawkinsville last weekend.
Right.
It's not like your trip to Spain that you might plan once a lifetime or once a year or something like that. But small town rural tourism is something that people just want to do. People want day trips, weekend trips. They want girls' getaways, and they look for these types of things. So we don't see surrounding communities and surrounding even regions in Georgia as our competition. We see them as things that we can piggyback off of each other's success.
Absolutely.
If you're coming to Georgia and your final destination is Valdosta, why not stop and have lunch in Perry along the way?
Yeah.
Or in the bigger picture, if you're traveling from Pennsylvania and your final destination is Orlando, maybe you spend the night in Perry. The way you can find these different groups and these different ways to cross promote. And we really have enjoyed going to other communities and exploring their festivals and events that have welcomed us. And it is just a sign of the spirit of tourism. That if we all support each other, the traveler is going to have the best experience.
Yes. What is it? The rising tide raises all ships. What is that phrase? I always screw up.
Heard that, but I like it. Yes.
I think say it in, I think it's the Main Street program, but I probably messed it up a little bit. My husband teases me because I do that a lot, but that's the whole idea. And that's, just like cooperatives, like Flint Energies. I mean, one of our 7 basic principles, it's cooperatives helping cooperatives.
Sure.
And admire and acquire, rip off and duplicate, whatever you want to call it, but it's that spirit of helping one another, and I love that. And especially in our rural communities, and in Perry it's kind of interesting because it's got rural elements and the population.
Sure.
We have to help each other.
And there's things that we just know that we don't have. So for example, we don't have mulgi mounds.
Right.
But people could still choose to stay in Perry and go and make a 30-minute drive up to Oak Mulgee and enjoy that. And so we have no problem promoting that as an experience that people can enjoy while they're here. Lane's Southern Orchard, we don't have that in Perry, but it is definitely close enough that it can still be a part of the visitor experience. So we fully understand that there's things that other communities have that we don't. And we also know there's other things that we have that other communities may not have. So it's that idea of cross promotion or adding it onto your tour, that if you're going to stop in Perry, what else can you do in this region while you're here? That would not only impact Perry's economy, but Middle Georgia's economy as a whole, and help strengthen the heartland, so to speak.
Absolutely. All right. Well, I hope that we will see you guys around Perry. And if you come to one of the events, make sure that you tell somebody at Visit Perry that you listen to the podcast and you heard Anya talk about all the things that Perry has to offer. And we will see you around Middle Georgia soon. If you enjoyed today's podcast, we need your help. Please give us a 5-star review wherever you're listening to this podcast. It really does help us get this information out to more people about what's going on in Central and Southwest Georgia. Also, share this podcast on social media with your friends and family,
because it helps get more eyes and ears on what we have going on in our fabulous communities. Thank you.